Stretching across 5.5 million square kilometers, that's nearly twice the size of India, the Amazon basin touches 9 countries and harbors secrets that challenge everything we thought we knew about wilderness, civilization, and the delicate balance that keeps our planet alive. This isn't just a forest. It's a massive green engine that pumps moisture into the atmosphere, feeds itself with dust from another continent, and supports over 30 million people, including 300 indigenous groups who have been the forest's true guardians for thousands of years. But here's what blows my mind. We're only beginning to understand how it all works. Scientists estimate we've documented less than 10% of the species living here, and recent discoveries of ancient earthworks suggest that what we once dismissed as untouched wilderness was actually shaped by sophisticated civilizations long before Europeans arrived. So here's my question for you. If the Amazon disappeared tomorrow, how long do you think humanity could survive? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm genuinely curious what you think. And if you're ready to explore one of the most extraordinary places on our planet, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're about to journey through flying rivers, underwater forests, and cities that shouldn't exist. Trust me, by the end of this story, you'll never look at forests the same way again. Stand in the heart of the Amazon on a clear morning, and you might notice something strange happening above you. As sunlight filters through the canopy, billions of leaves begin their daily work, not just photosynthesis, but something far more dramatic. Through transpiration, the trees are pulling water from the soil and releasing it into the air as vapor. Now multiply that by roughly 390 billion individual trees, and you've got what scientists call flying rivers, massive streams of atmospheric moisture flowing invisibly overhead, carrying more water than the Amazon River itself. These aerial rivers don't just evaporate into nothing. They travel westward, driven by trade winds, dumping rain back onto the forest in an endless cycle of self-sustenance. The Amazon literally manufactures approximately 20 billion tons of water into the atmosphere every single day. That moisture doesn't stay local either. It travels south to water the agricultural heartlands of Brazil, Argentina, and Paraguay. Without the Amazon's flying rivers, South America's breadbasket would become a desert. The forest doesn't just live, it gives life to regions thousands of kilometers away. But here's where it gets truly mind-bending. The Amazon couldn't do any of this without help from the most unlikely source imaginable, the Sahara Desert, sitting 5,000 kilometers away across the Atlantic Ocean. Every year, powerful winds lift approximately 27 million tons of dust from the Badele Depression in Chad, carrying it across the ocean like a conveyor belt of nutrients. This dust contains phosphorus, the very element that tropical rains constantly wash away from Amazonian soil. Without this transatlantic fertilizer delivery system, the forest would slowly starve itself. Two of Earth's most extreme ecosystems, the world's largest desert and largest rainforest, are locked in an ancient partnership that neither could survive without. Now forget everything you think you know about what a rainforest looks like. The Amazon isn't one ecosystem, it's hundreds, maybe thousands, packed together in a bewildering mosaic that changes every few hundred meters. Walk through a flooded Várzea forest where the water rises up to 15 meters during the wet season, transforming trees into islands and forest floors into murky lakes. Fish swim among the tree trunks, and pink river dolphins, yes, pink dolphins, navigate through submerged canopies hunting for catfish. Move just a few kilometers away, and suddenly you're in terra firma, upland forests that never flood, where the soil is ancient, weathered, and paradoxically nutrient-poor despite supporting the most biodiverse terrestrial ecosystem on Earth. Then there are the white sand forests, called Campina, where the soil is so mineral-deprived that only specially adapted species can survive. These areas look almost alien, stunted trees, sparse undergrowth, and an eerie silence compared to the cacophony elsewhere. In a single hectare of Amazon forest, that's about 2.5 acres, you can find 300 distinct tree species. To put that in perspective, all of North America has about 650 tree species total. 1 acre in the Amazon contains half the tree diversity of an entire continent. And it's not just trees. There are approximately 2.5 million insect species, 2,200 fish species, 1,300 bird species, and 430 mammal species. Scientists estimate that 1 in 10 of all species on Earth lives in the Amazon basin. The sheer density of life here defies comprehension. For centuries, explorers and scientists operated under powerful assumption. The Amazon was pristine wilderness, untouched by human hands until recently. That narrative has completely collapsed. Beneath the forest floor lies evidence of something extraordinary: massive earthworks, sophisticated water management systems, and a soil so rich and engineered that it still outperforms modern agricultural techniques 500 years after it was created. This soil, called terra preta or black earth, was manufactured by pre-Columbian civilizations that thrived here between 450 BCE and 950 CE. Unlike the naturally nutrient-poor soils of the Amazon, terra preta is rich in charcoal, bone, and organic matter, a deliberate human creation that remains fertile today. These ancient engineers understood something that modern science is only now rediscovering: biotechnology, the process of locking carbon into soil while simultaneously boosting its productivity. Some estimates suggest that up to 10% of the Amazon's soil is actually terra preta, covering an area the size of France. Recent LiDAR surveys, laser technology that penetrates forest canopy, have revealed something even more astonishing: geometric earthworks, raised highways, and settlement patterns suggesting that pre-contact Amazon populations may have numbered in the millions. These weren't small villages. We're talking about sophisticated societies with urban planning, agriculture, and far-reaching trade networks. The pristine wilderness myth was just that, a myth. The Amazon we see today is actually a regrown forest, shaped by centuries of indigenous management and still recovering from the demographic collapse that followed European diseases. Today, more than 300 indigenous groups continue that legacy of stewardship, speaking over 250 languages and preserving knowledge systems that scientists are only beginning to appreciate. The Kayapo people practice a form of agroforestry that mimics natural forest diversity while producing food. The Yanomami have identified thousands of medicinal plants, many of which form the basis for modern pharmaceuticals. These communities aren't relics of the past. They're the living library of how to thrive in the Amazon without destroying it. In 1896, an opera house opened in the middle of the jungle. Not just any opera house, a monument to excess with crystal chandeliers from France, tiles from Italy, marble from Portugal, and steel from England. The Teatro Amazonas stands today in Manaus, a city that shouldn't exist, but absolutely does, thriving 1,500 kilometers from the nearest ocean. Manaus was born from rubber, specifically from the global rubber boom that made a handful of Amazon barons wealthier than kings. In the late 19th century, automobile manufacturing exploded, and with it, demand for rubber. The Amazon had a monopoly on rubber trees, and fortunes were made overnight. At its peak, Manaus was one of the wealthiest cities in the world. Electric streetcars ran before New York had them. Rubber barons sent their laundry to Europe by ship, because local services weren't considered good enough. Then in 1876, an Englishman named Henry Wickham smuggled 70,000 rubber tree seeds out of Brazil to England's Kew Gardens. From there, they were transplanted to British colonies in Southeast Asia, where they thrived in plantation conditions impossible in the Amazon due to leaf blight disease. By 1915, the boom was over, and Manaus fell into decades of decline. The opera house closed, the mansions crumbled, the jungle began reclaiming the streets. But Manaus never died. Today, it's a bustling city of over 2 million people, the economic hub of the Western Amazon, and a free trade zone that attracts manufacturing and commerce from around the world. Modern Manaus is a contradiction: skyscrapers and favelas, cruise ships and wooden canoes, air-conditioned shopping malls, and floating houses built on stilts. It's also the gateway to one of the Amazon's most spectacular natural phenomena. Just outside the city, the Rio Negro and the Solimões River run side by side without mixing for over 6 kilometers. A phenomenon called the meeting of waters. The Rio Negro, darkened by tannins from decomposing vegetation, flows cold and acidic. The Solimões, heavy with Andean sediment, run sandy brown and warm. The difference in temperature, speed, and density keeps them separate, creating a stark boundary line visible from the air. Eventually, they merge to form the Amazon River proper, which from this point becomes the most voluminous river on Earth, discharging more water than the next 7 largest rivers combined. The Amazon River isn't just big, it's geologically active, constantly reshaping the landscape. Every year, it carries approximately 1.3 billion tons of sediment from the Andes to the Atlantic, building new land at the river's mouth and destroying old banks with equal indifference. Islands appear and disappear. Navigation channels shift overnight. Towns that were once riverside settlements find themselves kilometers inland within a generation. Take the Anavilhanas Archipelago, one of the world's largest freshwater island systems. It contains over 400 islands that expand during the dry season and shrink to almost nothing during floods. Navigating through this labyrinth requires local knowledge. Maps become outdated within months. The river's pulse determines everything: when to plant, when to fish, when to travel, when to move entire communities to higher ground. At Alto do Caio, often called the Caribbean of the Amazon, pristine white sand beaches emerge during the dry season, attracting tourists from around the world. But come December, those beaches vanish beneath 10 meters of water and the landscape transforms completely. Buildings on stilts rise above the flood. Canoes replace cars. Life adapts, as it has for thousands of years. Further upstream in Peru, Iquitos presents an even more extreme case of river-dependent living. With a population over 400,000, it's the largest city in the world that cannot be reached by road, only by river or air. Everything arrives by boat, cars, electronics, food, fuel. The economy runs on river commerce. Social life revolves around the floating markets. Even the city's famous architecture, rubber boom mansions decorated with Portuguese tiles, was built with materials that traveled 3,200 kilometers upriver from the Atlantic. Imagine a forest where, for 6 months of the year, there is no forest floor, only water. Pacasamiria National Reserve in Peru becomes exactly that during the wet season. Covering 20,000 square kilometers, it transforms into the largest flooded forest in the Amazon, a mirrored world where the sky reflects perfectly in the water and fish swim through the trees. Life here exists in a state of constant adaptation. Pink river dolphins hunt where terrestrial animals walked months before. Giant river otters, growing up to 1.8 meters long, patrol flooded territories. Arapaima, massive air-breathing fish that can grow to 3 meters and 200 kilograms, cruise through submerged vegetation. The entire ecosystem operates on a boom-bust cycle, with the flood bringing nutrients and fish inland, and the dry season concentrating prey in shrinking pools. Downstream in Tambopata National Reserve, another spectacle unfolds daily at the clay licks. Hundreds of macaws descend each morning in raucous, synchronized gatherings, consuming mineral-rich clay from exposed riverbanks. Scientists believe this behavior neutralizes toxins from unripe fruits and seeds the birds eat, essentially allowing them to exploit food sources before competitors. It's a remarkable example of how species engineer their own dietary solutions. Not all of the Amazon is flat and flooded. On its southern and western edges, the forest climbs toward the Andes, creating transition zones where biodiversity reaches even more staggering levels. Gocta Waterfall in northern Peru, unknown to the outside world until 2002, plunges 771 meters in 2 tiers from cloud forests that exist in permanent mist. These highlands, where the rainforest meets mountain weather systems, create unique microclimates supporting species found nowhere else. Further south, straddling the Colombia-Brazil-Peru border, the town of Leticia serves as a meeting point for three nations, all sharing the Amazon River as their common highway. Here, cultures blend as freely as the river waters. Colombian coffee, Brazilian acai, and Peruvian ceviche all appear on the same menu. Indigenous Ticuna communities maintain their languages and traditions while participating in modern economies. It's a living demonstration that the Amazon has always been a place of movement, mixture, and exchange. In Ecuador, the Cayabina Wildlife Reserve showcases blackwater ecosystems unlike anything in the main Amazon. These blackwater rivers get their color from tannins leaching from decomposing vegetation, creating acidic, nutrient-poor waters that look like dark tea. Despite seeming inhospitable, these systems support specialized wildlife. Caimans, anacondas, river turtles, and countless fish species adapted to the unique chemistry. And then there's Caño Cristales in Colombia, the river of five colors or liquid rainbow. For a few weeks each year between wet and dry seasons, when water levels and sunlight reach perfect conditions, aquatic plants called Macaenia clavigera explode in reds, yellows, greens, and blues, transforming the riverbed into a living painting. It's a reminder that the Amazon still holds surprises, still reveals phenomena that seem impossible until you see them with your own eyes. Finally, we venture to where the Amazon meets geological deep time. Caño National Park in Venezuela rises into the Tepuis, ancient sandstone table mountains that have stood isolated for 2 billion years. These aren't mountains in the traditional sense. They're the remnants of an enormous plateau that once covered the region, slowly eroded by wind and water into dozens of separate summits, each hosting unique species that evolved in complete isolation. From Oyan Tepuy falls Angel Falls, the world's tallest uninterrupted waterfall at 979 meters. The water falls so far that much of it transforms into mist before reaching the ground, creating permanent cloud forests at the base. The Tepuis inspired Arthur Conan Doyle's The Lost World, and it's easy to see why these geological islands feel prehistoric, untouchable, existing in a different time than the forest below. So what does the Amazon teach us? It reveals that nothing in nature exists in isolation. A rainforest depends on a desert. A river creates its own rain. Ancient soils hold the knowledge of vanished civilizations. Indigenous wisdom and scientific discovery converge on the same truths. Everything is connected, and breaking one connection weakens the entire system. The Amazon reminds us that we don't need to choose between humanity and nature. They've coexisted here for thousands of years. What we need is the wisdom to work with natural systems rather than against them. The terra preta beneath our feet proves that humans can enhance ecosystems rather than deplete them. The indigenous communities still thriving here demonstrate that it's possible to prosper without destruction. Before I let you go, here are my questions for you. Have you ever experienced an ecosystem that completely changed how you see the world? And if you could ask the Amazon one question, what would it be? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one. May your next journey take you somewhere that challenges everything you thought you knew. May you find forests, flying rivers, or whatever wild place calls to your soul. The world is vast, mysterious, and waiting. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss an adventure. Until next time.